Good morning, I'm Lauren Scafidi. Let's check in with weather impact meteorologist Keely Chalmers. And Keely, I just pulled it up in Google Maps. If we leave now, we could get to A Basin at 9:09. It'll take us an hour and 9 minutes. I don't know who handles the rest of the show from here.
Right.
Not my problem, right?
You have another hour, so you're going to have to put in the map in about an hour.
All right, deal.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a beautiful day up in the mountains. It's going to be a beautiful day down here across the plains. Tomorrow, the mountains getting more snow. Monday morning, looking like the metro area will get some impactful snow as well. 33 degrees out at the airport this morning, so a chilly start to your Saturday, but we will be warming up nicely. We're going to make it up to about 66 for a high, or normal high for this time of the year, 58 degrees, so well above that. And the winds picking up this evening, but not going to be too much of an issue today. Temperatures topping out in the 60s, mid 60s to upper 60s, even low 70s down across the southeast corner of the state. Here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. We're going to be in the 50s by noon. We'll be in the 60s by about 2 o'clock. Few clouds out there this morning, but we're looking mostly sunny as we head into the afternoon. Taking a look at your weather headlines, topping them, the dry and mild weather today through most of the day tomorrow. We'll see the snow start to fall in the mountains tomorrow early and then move down across the urban corridor in the form of rain tomorrow night, transitioning to snow into Monday morning. So that will impact your Monday morning commute. And then next week, actually looking very winter-like. We have a series of storms moving in, bringing us not just one, but likely several days of snow. We'll talk more about that, give you the details on the winter-like weather coming up in your complete forecast in just a bit.
Thank you so much, Keely. As the colder weather makes its way to the metro area next week, Denver will be activating its cold weather shelter plan. The city will provide an extra 24/7 shelter from 1 p.m. Monday to 11 a.m. Thursday at the Stone Creek Shelter. That's the former Best Western Hotel off Quebec Street, just north of I-70. Shelter will also be provided at city facilities off West 7th Avenue in South Zunai Street. Immigration agents say 2 documented Tren de Aragua gang members are in custody in Aurora. They'll be sent to Texas, where they're wanted for murder and kidnapping. This week, the Farmers Branch Police Department in the Dallas area put out an alert as they searched for Jonathan Gonzalez and Carlos Bolivar. They're accused of killing a 33-year-old there. ICE says both were caught in Texas last year after entering the U.S., released from custody, and then arrested again in Aurora on September 26th of this year. Again, both men are now in ICE custody. No arrests yet this morning in a shooting at a Halloween party in North Glen. 3 people died, 3 others were hurt. It happened at a home near I-25 and 104th Avenue just after midnight Friday morning. Neighbors say they thought they heard fireworks. Then they heard screaming and police sirens. When police got to the home, they found 1 person dead. 5 others were taken to the hospital, where 2 of them later died. Police say the people who are involved in this incident knew each other. A teenager will spend at least 40 years in prison for killing a woman in 2021 after a minor crash on Colfax. Remy Cordova was 14 years old when he shot and killed Pamela Cabriales after her car bumped into one that he was in. Yesterday, a jury found Cordova guilty of first-degree murder and other charges. Pamela's brother says his sister was just trying to give her son a better life when she was killed.
I think about how she lived for her son. You know, she had just bought her first home and she was doing everything for her son to give him a better future, a better life.
Cordova will be sentenced in December. He faces life in prison, but because of his age at the time of the crime, he'll be eligible for parole after 40 years. Turning now to the election, Colorado's Democratic Secretary of State says all of those leaked passwords have been changed on voting machines. But that announcement comes 6 days after the breach was first discovered. Thursday night, Democratic Governor Jared Polis sent resources to the Secretary of State's office, including IT staff, to get all of those passwords changed over a little bit more quickly. This week, we learned the Secretary of State's office posted a spreadsheet online with a hidden tab that included system passwords. Griswold did not tell county election clerks or start to change those passwords until 5 days later, when that leak became public. This morning, Election Day is just 3 days away, but Election Day could turn into election weeks or months as Republicans prepare lawsuits over how the votes are counted. Kyle Clark has more.
Dozens of election-related lawsuits in key states will determine who is allowed to vote, how they vote, and how those votes will be counted. Broadly speaking, Republicans and conservative groups have filed lawsuits to limit voters' eligibility, while Democrats and liberal groups have gotten involved in lawsuits to protect voters' eligibility. Our reporters around the country are watching closely.
I'm Bram Resnick at the Arizona State Capitol. We've tracked down 11 voting-related lawsuits over the last 10 months, all but one of them filed by Republicans or their allies. One ruling to watch as the election unfolds: a judge struck down safeguards against intimidation at the polls. During the 2022 election, people with video cameras recorded voters at ballot drop boxes, and armed men were on patrol. That will be allowed.
Here in Pennsylvania, 20 lawsuits have been filed related to the 2024 election. About half of those were filed by voters themselves or nonpartisan organizations. The other half, though, were filed overwhelmingly by Republicans. Some question the state's process for counting mail-in ballots. Others question individual counties about how they test electronic voting machines.
I'm Chris Arabsky at the St. Croix County Courthouse in Wisconsin. We found 14 election-related lawsuits filed in Wisconsin this year. Half of them filed in the last 6 weeks. 11 cases were brought up by Republican groups or their allies. The rest appear nonpartisan in nature. Those lawsuits comprise concerns over not hiring enough Republican election inspectors to challenging the accuracy of the voter rolls. The biggest controversy, though, has been over absentee ballots and drop boxes. 2 years ago, a conservative majority in the state Supreme Court banned the use of most drop boxes in this state. But this summer, a new liberal majority in the High Court overturned its own ruling allowing these for the general election, an election in which President Biden won by fewer than 21,000 votes in 2020.
Here in Georgia, at least 21 election-related lawsuits have been filed since the beginning of the year. Many of them are still working their way through the court system, and most of the ones that have reached final judgment at the trial court level, they are now subject to appeal. One of the biggest cases we've been following, a challenge to a series of newly passed election rules passed by the conservative majority on the state election board. But recently, a Fulton County judge struck down those rules, including one that would have required a hand count of ballots. And when the state Supreme Court had a chance to intervene, it declined, meaning that even though the appeals process continues in this case, it is unlikely those rules will be in place on Election Day.
Here in Michigan, our peninsulas may be connected, but our politics couldn't be more divided. Here at 13 on Your Side, we identified at least 9 different election-related lawsuits in the lead-up to November. A couple of those brought by liberal-oriented organizations, but the majority brought by the Republican National Committee, who have signaled these have been meant to uphold election law and instill election integrity. Some have already been dismissed in the courts, but some are still ongoing, including one that alleges that the state government overstepped their authority in setting up voter registration sites in VA hospitals and offices of the Small Business Administration.
I'm Ben Thompson in Charlotte. Here in North Carolina, our election lawsuits are split right down the middle. 5 conservative, 5 liberal, most still working their way through our legal system. Just days ago, though, a judge ruled against Republican challenges of certain overseas ballots, saying there was no obvious fraud involved.
Not all of these cases will be resolved by Election Day, and there almost certainly will be fresh challenges, especially in swing states. We'll continue to track these cases as they impact Americans' right to vote and have that vote counted.
9 News will have 7.5 hours of continuous special election coverage on Election Day between Channel 9, Channel 20, and streaming on 9 News Plus. That coverage starts at 3 p.m. on 9 News.